Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my crypto market update. And today I want to go over something that is very interesting, and it's relative to the daily candles that we have started to print, well, just in closing a few minutes ago. So, what we've seen is a pullback from Bitcoin yesterday all the way back to almost the 0786. And something that I like to look out for, especially on the daily, is the range golden pocket. And as you can see, we have reclaimed this level, and it's always advised to wait till that daily close occurs, and obviously the next day is going to confirm whether or not this golden pocket level is a confirmed support. However, what it's looking like at the moment is it is, and there are several golden pockets across the market that have been tagged in a similar fashion and held. Right, the 0618 is held here on BitTensor, and the structure of BitTensor at the moment is an accumulation, sideways accumulation, and it's compressing. All right. Something to note about the structure, I don't know if I mentioned it in previous videos, but it's a very similar structure to Bitcoin's COVID-19 structure, right? Where there is a sidewinding accumulation, expansion, albeit the levels are slightly different. Compression, drop down, and then lift off. So I'll just overlay these over each other to provide some context so you can see the shape. The levels are slightly different, but the actual price structure is very similar in a way, right? Where the actual second peak is a head and shoulders pattern, and the levels that are created afterwards looks very staggered, and from an untrained perspective it can look like this is slumping over and it could really rip down. But we need to keep in mind the context of this entire range that has been created by the price action for the past 500 or so days, right? And where we are in the cycle as well. Is it more, I guess, beneficial to be bullish here? Like, if we only have a couple of months left in the cycle, you're probably better off to be in the bullish camp if you do believe that there's alt season. And if you believe that there's going to be another dump, then your downside there will sort of be outweighed by the upside should the upside start occurring, right? So, something that I need to, I guess, address in terms of the price action here, if we've respected rebound zones this entire way, including over here, we've also respected golden pockets as well. So I've added to the tower position at the gold pocket level, and I've drawn the boxes for rebound zones and now golden pocket regions as well. So it's been ping pong between golden pocket 0618 and rebound zones 0618s, right? And it's pretty much been compressing in this region, and it is no different than what we see here, right? So similarly, we'll see a rebound zone rejection here from 0618. It goes back down to here, which is probably a golden pocket region, right? With 0618 of the full range over here. And then a bounce up to rebound zone, right? 0618. And then a pullback into, once again, the golden pocket region. And it's a ping pong compression between fib levels before a breakout in a direction. So am I saying that this is going to break out absolutely to the upside? No, but at the moment the bias is to the upside until the September period, and it could be like early mid-September towards the rate cut, FOMC, which ends up being giving us a potential pullback into October. But until then, I'll keep a bullish bias unless these levels start to get taken out and we break this type of structural formation. I guess it's worth mentioning other charts as well, and the reason why being bearish at these levels doesn't quite make sense, and I've seen negative funding across the market when it comes to these levels, because it's weird, right? We're at like a fib support region. However, people are trying to short the market. They're trying to dump it right now. But there is a good likelihood that these shorts ran back up, essentially, right? Because there's over commitment to those bets to the downside at support levels, and demand will come back in and push those shorts out of the market, probably. And we're seeing confirmation of that in Bitcoin's golden pocket. We might extend down here a bit before we bounce back up, but we'll see by the end of today. And what other charts have this as well? Link is sort of still at the highs, still looking quite strong despite the pullback seen on Bitcoin. The market still looks quite robust and not very weak at all. We got Solana here, which still looks incredibly strong. Hasn't even come down as hard in comparison to Bitcoin, where Bitcoin has actually dragged itself down to below these levels. Solana is staying up well above the golden pocket at the 0.5 region. What else do we have? Say has somewhat looks like it's fading and diminishing in strength. If I were to measure from this move to this move, it sort of needs to hold this 0.32 level to remain in this bullish structure. However, we do see that there is a lower high here. Not as confident in this formation as it is beneath the 0.618 rebound zone of the full range. We need to see some strength coming back in for that to have a bit more of a push higher, or give me a bit more confidence in it anyways. Not that I'm trading it, but yeah. Something that has been moving quite strongly as well, but still held below the rebound zone of the full range, is Uni. And obviously beta plays to Ethereum have been quite fruitful as well. Obviously because they move strongly, because Ethereum's moved strongly. Still needs a lot of catch up to do in comparison to Ethereum, but it's held up at the 0.5 region, which is pretty good. We haven't even seen the 0.618. So if Uni does come down to the 0.618 region, would be a good bid and likely bounce should the market start to continue to the upside. What else do we got? Raydium. Raydium also has a very similar structure to NEAR. If anything, if I were to take it from down here, like every other chart, it's held the 0.382 region, which is generally seen as a good continuation level in a bullish structure. Low to high here is 0.618 to 0.65, so golden pocket of this particular range here. So no point getting bearish at this level right now. Doge, still in Doge. I do think that I can potentially, as you can see, like there's fibs everywhere, but Doge has rejected from the local rebound zone. I do think that has like a potential of dropping down to the 0618 region. I've seen this structure play out many times where it's like a head and shoulders pattern down to 0618 region. However, this is something that I'm probably still going to hold on to. If we do see a market reversal here, we could set a base here and just continue to the upside, but that is yet to be seen. We'll have to play it day by day before we understand what direction this market wants to go in. Ethereum at the moment's hard read. I do think Ethereum has the potential of dropping much more, all the way down to the 3,800 level. Maybe that's the September drop at some point. But that level does have confluence with this full range 0618 GP. So just how I measure the golden the 1618s swing high, swing low, when there's confluence with the golden pocket, if the price does come down to that level, that is a very, very, very strong region to be adding or buying if you are still bullish. And because Ethereum's at all-time highs, or close to all-time highs, that is probably the absolute low should the price come down. Like I'll bet my money on it if it does come down there. So just letting you know. But yeah, that's sort of it. I just wanted to update everyone on, actually, yeah. As well as that, last thing, we see something on the Tether dominance as well. It's a rejection of the 0618 region of this range. So that had confluence with a lot of golden pockets around the market as well. What this is telling us isn't that it's an absolute bottom, but there is a likelihood that there's a solid amount of support here where the market needs to decide on what happens next. S&P 500 still holding this high. Nothing really to note on here. It looks a little bit weaker than you want it to look. And like I've been saying this entire cycle, this is 2618 region. Obviously, we can go above it according to other 618 regions in the past. But beyond this level, if it starts to continue on, I think if it goes beyond, let's say, 6% above 2618, then I'll have to say that my thesis on the fibs here is invalidated, and it can go much higher than that. But until that point comes, I will remain steadfast on the fact that there is probably a high that occurs somewhere around here that brings the stock market downwards. Sounds grim, but that's what I'm seeing at the moment. Something else worth noting, sorry, I just keep going and going and going, but this is something worth noting as well. With gold, I do think that gold does have the potential of starting to roll over at some point in the near future, and we do want to be seeing risk off on gold, because that has in the past coincided with Bitcoin rallies. And like I've been measuring highs for Bitcoin, gold actually rhymes in a very similar way. As you can see, I'm doing like a very similar measurement here to how I measure the Bitcoin highs, and gold does respect the 4236 and 4618, and at this point it's at the 4236 level. That's potentially a top right there, right? And what happens when we see this come in? Well, let's put Bitcoin on the chart. Cool. And I'll chuck some lines up as well. we see gold start to drop, you notice something very interesting starting to occur in the Bitcoin price. Well, there as well. Doesn't have much information on this chart, unfortunately. Let me find another one, BLX. Sweet. Perfect. First cycle, a bit different, but as you can see, like as soon as gold starts dropping, Bitcoin starts running. Gold starts dropping, Bitcoin starts going parabolic. Gold starts dropping, Bitcoin goes parabolic. And at the moment, gold's been strong the entire time with Bitcoin. I do think that there's potential for it to roll over very, very soon. And perhaps that is what starts the risk on moment for crypto and all the shit coins. I think that's sort of it, guys. Just want to run through that quickly, and buy still remains until these levels are taken out. We're sort of at that pivot point at the moment, so keep an eye out. If we go lower, then keep needing to add things on her. If we do go lower, what are we looking at? What are we looking at? Still generally bullish biased on this market, even if there are, decent corrections. But I did have a fractal drawn there, actually. What we're looking at here is a potential drop to the 1,004 region, right? Could even go as low as 100,000. 100,004 region, all the way down to the 100,000 region, but I've marked it as the 1618 of this measured move here. Is there a golden pocket for this entire range? It's a little bit higher. Maybe the full extension goes down to 1618 and then it goes back into this golden pocket region. Something to look out for should we do a structure like this. I found a very similar structure that kind of fits this sort of time frame, right? Where we hit a low somewhere here, maybe we go back up on Bitcoin to the rebound zone to the 1st of September, and then there's a massive nuke all the way down. So keep an eye out for that. If we are held around the rebound zone, like start of September, I think that would be a risk off moment, and I would have to consider closing or de-risking a bunch of positions heavily. So yeah, that's all. Thanks, guys.